It's really a great honor, so I appreciate your time and attention for this presentation. So first of all of this is for sale, which is, I'm saying that because the last time I was in this room, actually, I was pitching to get in the incubator, and we didn't have any of this set up. We didn't have the store. We didn't have anything. And the learning curve has been steep, but we have just dug in and done our best. And the amount of progress that has been made is just, it is mind-blowing. And I'm very honored. And I'm going to try to get this to turn on. It went to sleep. I'm so sorry. Okay. Sorry, got to put in the pin and all the things.
Do not mock the security.
Okay, so again, thank you for being here. And my name is Liz Threlkeld. And at our homestead, food is a love language. And we enjoy feeding our family healthy food, and it is how we found homesteading. It is how we found a lot of our gardening skills, some of these old-fashioned skills, and we've learned how to preserve our own food and grow and process our own needs. And so here we are living on the homestead, happily ever after, and COVID hits. And so what we see is supply chain issues, empty store shelves. You know, you all lived through all of that. And so basic necessities were unavailable. And our community was not prepared for a food crisis. The local food network system was barely visible. And it broke my heart. So aside from the COVID disaster itself, another disaster was striking before my eyes, and that was food insecurity. And from my disaster preparedness training, pre the homesteading world, I learned that grocery stores only have 3 days or less of food to feed their communities in times of disaster when the industrial food system chains break down. And I say or less because I've spoken with people that survived the Katrina disaster, and they said within 24 hours, grocery store shelves were just ripped clean. People are scared. They want to know that they've got a means to provide for themselves for food. And so the looting, you know, just, it's crazy. So the intent here isn't to scare anyone, but rather to raise awareness about this issue, just like we would drunk driving or safety swimming classes. And so that's when my disaster preparedness background started kicking in, and I realized we didn't have consistent year-round access to local food. So we 100% support the farmers market. We love the farmers market, but the reality is they're only open a few days or a few months out of the year. And so what about the rest of the year? How do people have access to that local food? And so this knowledge galvanized me to do something and solve that problem. So fast forward a few brainstorms and years later, I married my two desires to have a food secure community and more access to local healthy foods just for the benefits of the local foods. And I wanted to build that connective tissue between the local producers and their consumers. So I chatted with Kat about, you know, what might possibly that look like. And she suggested subscription boxes, a CSA kind of, and I was like, well, I don't know. And I love her so much because she just kind of was like, just do it, don't overthink it, and kind of just gave me the nudge off the cliff. And now I'm like building my parachute on the way down, and I'm so grateful because I am an overthinker, and I would have probably thought myself out of it. So they did really well. I actually had to stop advertising them after 2 rounds on Facebook because we had so many people subscribing that I didn't have enough growers at the time, and so it was great. And I have a waiting list of people that have been bugging me ever since. Hey, when are these coming out? So they are coming out in July. But after that, I thought, oh my gosh, people really want local access, you know, to this food. And so I talked with a lot of you here about, and Ben specifically, about getting in the incubator program. And so the last time I was in this room, we were pitching to get into the incubator program over there and have a place to manufacture our own value-added foods that come off of our garden. And for those of you who don't know, a value-added item is largely what a lot of this is. So you take a cucumber and turn it into a pickle, you've added value to it. And then it's shelf stable, it can last longer, that sort of thing. And so that's what we're talking about with year-round access. Because a lot of people in this area don't grow a winter garden, so the fresh stuff kind of tapers off. So the learning curve was great, and I appreciate all of you who have mentored me and stuck with me through all this and my million questions, because y'all know I have a lot. So I appreciate that. So we started doing, when the growing season ended, we started doing pop-ups with some of these value-added items with some of our different vendors. And we thought, well, let's just see, do people want this stuff year-round, or are they just kind of interested in the fresh stuff? The pop-ups did amazing. My mind was blown, and I was just like, okay, this business model might actually work. So this one-stop local shop, I later discovered at the local Ag Summit that it's actually a thing. It's called a farm hub, and during the COVID year, not only did me and a lot of other people realize how important this was, but the government did too, and they drafted the Farmers Market and Farm Hub law in 2020 and made basically a provision for a farm hub to be able to open up and sell that local food. And so we're under the jurisdiction of Oklahoma Department of Ag, Food and Forestry, and we love working with them. They're really amazing. So anyway, we discovered that these farm hubs are popping up all over the state. I've been to at least 4 of them. I try to visit anytime I'm in a different area, a farm hub. And so they're really doing well. I've made friends with a lot of the owners at those stores. So this was a game changer, realizing that we can do a year-round, indoor, all-weather, basically farmer's market, and that it was a viable business model. So we decided, since the pop-ups were doing so well, that we would go for the PCDA pitch-off. And for those of you who don't know, it's kind of, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I describe it as Ponca City's version of the Shark Tank on TV, if you've ever seen that. But part of the incentives, if you won, was free space over at City Central, which is a big city building downtown. And we really needed some of that because we needed kind of a more established place that we could set up and sell these items. So we entered the pitch-off and we won second place. And one of the incentives, like I said, was 6 months free rent in one of their areas. So for those of you who are local, which I think most of you are, not you guys online, but they used to have that old coffee shop in that kitchen area. So we have that to where we can store all of our stuff. So we got 6 months free rent of that. And the first place winners, as I want to give a shout out to them, they are Under My Wing Academy. They're a local daycare that's about to open up. And I actually didn't realize who I was competing against until the day of, and she's a childhood friend of mine. So that was really amazing, but they didn't need their space, so they gifted us their 6 months. So we have a year free space there. So we are super, super grateful, and thank you to Under My Wing Academy for that. So on Earth Day, we opened for regular store business hours on Mondays. And because the area that we're at is not fully enclosed, it's still pop-up style. So we come in on Sunday, we set up all the store if you've been in there, and then we tear it all down at the end of Monday. So it's a lot of work, but we are super dedicated. And we're talking right now about the possibility of permanently leasing some of that space so that we can, they are talking about possibly building us a wall so we can leave it set up and we can be open more days of the week. So we're very, very excited. That's kind of the next year to 2 year or so plan for what we've got going on. So we decided that was the best route for us. It saves on overhead. We don't have lawn maintenance. We don't have, all the things that comes with owning a building. And so for us, it was a financially smart move. So we're trying to do the best we can with what comes in for our business. So that's kind of the story of Sunny Creek, but I want to go into a lot of my why about Sunny Creek. And so it's a very exciting time in the local ag world. Post-COVID survey of 5,000 people said 34% of people planted a garden for the first time during the pandemic, and 42% said that they increased their production the next year. So what that means is there's a lot of people growing stuff, and there's a learning curve for them too. Maybe they don't know how to preserve their things, or maybe they're just, wow, like, look at all this stuff I'm growing, what do I do with it? And so they're giving it away, and you can only give away so many zucchinis before your friends say, no more, and so that's kind of where we're coming in, is giving them a place to put their stuff. So what is unique about Sunny Creek Trading Post is that we're the bridge between the producers and their consumers. So for the farmer's market, you will go there and you will meet the producer of that food. They are there selling their own stuff. But for us, we sell on consignment for our producers. So a lot of them have their own various reasons why they can't or don't sell at the farmer's market. Maybe they don't have enough, or maybe, they don't people well, and so whatever it is, this allows them to still be able to bring their stuff to market, and we want to fill in the gap for that, for those people. So some of them are, I just kind of went through my list of vendors or producers. They are retired, living on a fixed income with skyrocketing inflation, so you can do the math on that. Some of them are disabled. Like I said a minute ago, some of them are introverts. We have an abuse survivor, we have a cancer patient, and we have 2 cancer survivors. We have a parent of a disabled child. I have 2 widows. We have parents that are raising money to adopt another child. We have an older couple that is wanting to establish a homestead legacy for their family. Someone using their creativity as an outlet of peace in the stressed out world. Someone who's determined to create change at the local level with their homestead. And no, it's not me, although that is also my goal. 2 culinary art students from here at Pioneer Tech are some of our vendors. We have vendors with autoimmune disease, and we have volunteers and veterans. So these are all people that we work with on a weekly basis that bring their goods to us that we sell for them. So these are your neighbors, your community members, and when you shop with us, you're supporting those people. So that is, there's a face behind every one of those. They recognize that our success is their success. So these people are freely sharing on Facebook. They are advertising for us, promoting us because they're invested in it, and they need us as much as we need them. Some of these people literally depend on this income to survive their, pay their bills. I did not, by the way, expect that when I started this business. It just kind of happened, and it has been very humbling, and I'm very grateful to be in that position to help these people that way. So who are our customers? Well, we have people from all different walks of life with many various mindsets that come to shop with us. We have people seeking a more sustainable way to source their food with far less food miles so that the environmental impact is less. We want to, people that want to eat clean and use clean products, because we don't allow food dyes or harsh preservatives or any of that in our food. We do the best we can to try to filter that out before we put it on the shelves. We have people that love the taste of homemade food. That's why they're there, because homemade food is delicious. We have people that have a distrust of the industrial food system and its marketing schemes. I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen some of the crazy stuff that's out there. And yes, there is tilapia in your Great Value marshmallows. Tilapia's a fish. It's crazy. I don't know, but I'm just telling you, and so people see stuff like that and they're like, man, I just want some normal food. So we have those guys coming to us. We have people that can't or didn't make it to the farmer's market this week, but they still want their fresh eggs and produce. We have people that seek the allergy benefits of eating locally grown foods. We have people who want to increase their nutrition by eating nutrient-dense food from the homegrown market versus the store-bought food, which a lot of times is synthetically fertilized and depleted fields. We have people that are learning how to heal and treat their own medical conditions and wounds. We have people that want to support their friends' business, and we have people who simply want to support local. So those are a lot of our customers that come to us, and so it's really great to hear the stories when people come in of why they're there, why they want to shop with us. And the feedback has been tremendous. When I started this thing, I was like, maybe I'm just a weirdo and I'm the only one that thinks like this, and I don't know that there's people out there that want this stuff, but that has really been a myth that has been dispelled, because there are so many people that are thinking and wanting and searching for this food. And before there's a one-stop local shop, and if you didn't make it to the farmer's market, you had to go here for this and there for that, and you had to know this guy to go get his thing, and it's laborsome for a lot of our customers to do that, including me. That's what I was doing before this. So what about the products? These products have had human attention from start to finish. They're not something that has been created by machines all the way until the last hand puts it on the shelf. These have had human eyeballs on it, taking their time and putting their craft to work. They're not homogeneous. Not every one of them looks the same. They have a story to tell. They are a reflection of their creator. And the products took skill sets and specific tools that were learned and acquired to be able to produce that product. Products use recipes, veggies, and flavors that are not found in any stores. We had stuff go out in the produce boxes that I learned later I need to put labels on some of these veggies, because people don't know what a kohlrabi is, or they don't know what a cucamelon is. And I had some of the recipients asking me, what is this small little melon thing? So it opens your horizon to some of these products that can be grown here. And they also provide peace, empowerment, and confidence in their producers. So what they do for the people behind them is amazing. And when these guys make a sale, it really does something for them. So in closing, there is nothing like Sunny Creek Trading Post here. We are pioneers at the forefront of a new frontier in the local food industry. Because it is so new, we're committed to educating ourselves and others about it, hence 1 million cups. And we find that something captivating happens when someone learns a new skill, or grows a new veggie, or cooks with a new spice, or they heal themselves naturally. It empowers them and it grows their confidence, and we love being a part of that story. We help hobbyists transform into producers. So not only does Sunny Creek Trading Post meet people's food, apothecary, and personal hygiene needs, but we also help change their lives. So we don't just provide produce, we're empowering producers. We don't just provide food, we're providing food security. And we don't just provide supplemental income, we provide supplemental purpose.
Woo!
Okay, I'm ready for questions.
So one of my questions is, you talked about you had to turn clients away last year because you didn't have enough producers. So how do you calculate, okay, I have to have this many producers to serve this many clients?
That is a tricky equation.
So, yeah.
So we try to have less customers than we have producers, so that way, we have more on the produce side. I'd rather have leftover of that than someone not getting a box, because they don't. And so last year there was 1 week where I was like, are we gonna be able to make this work? Because the drought last year and the heat was really, really hard on people's gardens. So very thankful for the cucamelons. They came in handy, helping us make weight. That's how we did it last year, was by weight. I think we might change to doing it by value. Excuse me, this year, the value of the products. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I try to do it.
And so do you just get on your list through Facebook?
I'm sorry?
Do you just get on your list through Facebook?
Get on my, so we'll open up an application for you guys, whoever wants to subscribe to the produce boxes. They will start in July, and then you can subscribe to them there. We're wanting to launch, probably not during the summer, just because we got a lot going on, but probably in the fall, maybe towards the end of the growing season, a staples box. So you get your bread, your eggs, a tomato product and an herb or something like that. And then that would be regularly either brought to your house or at a pickup location. So, and then hopefully next year we can just keep that going and add produce boxes and have them both at the same time. But since we're just, still trying to figure out the processes and all of that, we're just gonna do the produce subscription boxes for the summer.
So can you customize the boxes for your dietary needs? Like if you need lower sugar items?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We have a flavor profile that you would fill out. And so you tell us what you don't want to see in your boxes. So like say you hate radishes or you don't want potatoes because of the carbs, then you would just check, no on all of those. So then when we're packing your box, we don't put those in there and we replace it with some of the other yeses. So you're not guaranteed you're going to get, broccoli every week just because you said you like broccoli, but you're going to get something within the realm of what you want. Any other questions?
Can you explain a few of the foods that you're making, like manufacturing yourself?
Oh yes, so
And products.
yeah, so over at the incubator, we take some of our products and we've been able to make beef tallow lotion. And essentially it's just using beef fat that's been rendered and you add essential oils to it. And it's really very moisturizing for your skin. We're more genetically similar to an animal than we are a plant. So your animal-based moisturizers are a lot of times, they do a better job, I guess you can say. And so we've done a lot of that over there. We have done, I'm trying to turn my family into entrepreneurs. So my son has kept his sourdough alive and he's done sourdough crackers over there, which were a big hit. I know a lot of people really, really like those. So I'm getting on him, hey, you need to get some more made because we sold out at Herb But so yeah, we've done that. And it's kind of been slow over the winter because the growing season is not here. So I'm kind of waiting for a lot of the veggies from my garden to come in. And then we'll start doing some ketchups, probably barbecue sauce. This is my friend Val right here, and she does salsas. So I've been able to help supply her with some tomatoes because I've been too busy to make anything with the tomatoes I had. So she's been making some yummy, yummy salsa. I don't know if you brought any. Yes. It is delicious. If you've never had salsa with homegrown tomatoes, I'm just saying. So yeah, and it's just whatever kind of we feel like making in there, I guess, is what we produce. So.
And the dried herbs as well.
Yes, yeah, we take our herbs and dry them and bottle them up in there, and we sell those in the store.
So those are fresh garden-grown herbs.
Yep. Yep.
So Liz, you're currently open on Mondays only?
Yes.
Are there plans to increase your opening times?
Yes, because we have to set up and tear down, it's so labor intensive that we're waiting to be able to sign the lease with the PCDA. They're supposed to be working on drafting that soon. Okay. And probably a few months down the road, they said maybe 6, they're going to build a wall right there on the backside of where we are, which would then enclose that area so we can lock it up at night and leave everything out. At that point, we will introduce more days being open. But it's a lot right now to do all of that. We have talked about maybe opening one more day, maybe just leaving the stuff set up over Monday night and possibly being open Tuesday or something.
Or maybe a Friday, Monday. We're still discussing that.
So anyway, yes, there are plans to be open more days though. So. Any other questions? I have a question for you, just out of my own pure curiosity. How many of you had heard or knew about the local food system being what is the provisions in times of, war or famine or whatever, if the industrial food system breaks down and that the grocery store holds enough food for 3 days for your community? Did anybody know that? No. Yeah. So, that is another reason why this is so important to me, is because how do we feed our people if something happens, And one of the things I learned in our disaster training is it's not a matter of if there's a disaster, it's a matter of when. And hopefully it's none of our lifetimes, But the reality is disasters that happen all over the world. There are famine conditions in countries at war right now, different things like that. You know, I'm sure those people thought, well, I'd never live to see that. You know, and we're very blessed to live in such a way that we don't really have to worry about that. But somebody has to think about that, you know, and be prepared in those times. And so, and I think COVID really revealed that. And even our own government was like, we need to do something about the local food industry. Let's make this available. So it's farm hubs or food hubs. They're called farm hubs in Oklahoma, food hubs at the federal level. But they started federally recognizing food hubs. So it's a big deal. And so I hope none of you are scared by that. But I hope that you have attention to it, you know, just like you would putting your seatbelt on or swimming safe, you know, that sort of thing. So.
What's the difference of being scared and
Prepared. Yes, prepared, not scared. So, yeah, and we want to be prepared so that nobody has to be scared or, you know, experience those food insecurities.
So Liz, what can our community do to support you?
Educate people on that and what we do. That's one of the biggest hurdles, is because this is so new. It's like a brand new business model. People haven't kind of really done this in, I don't know, maybe 100 years or something, you know. It's getting the word out there. People are like, well, what is a farm hub? Or, you know, I didn't even know for the longest time, you know. So telling people what it is that we do, why we do it, how, you know, if you know somebody that makes just like the most delicious teas or whatever, just cause, you know, you can tell them and they can, you know, about this place, and maybe they can jump on board, you know, just that kind of thing, helping raise awareness.
And if you know someone who's got a backyard garden, let them know about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how big do your producers need to be? I mean, just any extras you have is what you're trying to put back in the community, right?
Most people who have like a giant garden, like they produce thousands of pounds of food a year, we actually don't really work with them a lot because they can set up at the farmer's market. They have enough that it like warrants their fees and different things that they have over there. And so they're, you know, what do they need us for? So we're really here for more of the small guys. I mean, we'll take the big ones too, but I'm just saying most of our people are your backyard gardeners that was like, whoa, this tomato plant went wild. What do I do with all these tomatoes, you know? And so we're hoping to introduce classes that we can teach people some of these skills, how to preserve their own food and that sort of thing, and just like give the knowledge back to the people. We've lost so much of the knowledge over the last 100 years of how to produce our own food, how to grow it, you know, all those things. So we're really trying to give that back to the people and help them to be more mindful and, I don't want to say self-sufficient. I used to think that, but really it's community sufficient.
There you go.
It's about partnering with other people. Nobody can really do it all. I mean, it's very, very hard to do everything. So, you know, get good at the one or two things and find your community for the rest of those things. You know?
So Liz, those backyard gardeners, what is the easiest and best way for them to get a hold of you?
Just send me a message on Facebook.
Okay.
Yep. Sunny Creek Trading Post.
City Central, Mondays, 10
Yeah,
to 6.
come talk to us
She's
in the
there all
store.
day.
Yep, 10 to 6 on Mondays.
I know that 71842.
We are even there on Sunday evening because that's when we're in there setting the store up and our vendors come and refresh their product. And
Just stalk her.
Yeah. She's everywhere, it's fine.
But, yeah. Any other questions?
I'm going to present you with your 1 million coffee cup. Thank you for
thank
presenting
you.
today. He's going to grab a picture and then we'll.
Let's get on everything. Okay, there you go. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Really quick, those are candied nuts on the table. There's 5 different kinds, but there's only like 3 on each table. So it says on there what they are. Miss Lovely Val over here, my good friend, she makes those, and we do sell them in the store. But feel free to take those, and if you want any of the herbs, just pluck them out of there and take them with you. You can dry them at home. You can hang dry them. You can dry them in your oven on like 100 degrees. if you have a dehydrator, that's great too. On the lowest setting, herbs are kind of delicate, so just teaching y'all a little preservation method.
All right, I want to thank Liz for coming today. I want to thank you guys for coming as well. Please support her. She's done some amazing things already, and I can't wait to see what comes next. We did do a drawing today. Callie won one of our 1 Million Cup notebooks. Perfect for what you